I thought about with all the rain we had, my brother-in-law gave my wife a rain gauge for Christmas, almost as a joke gift. And my wife actually put it out in the yard. And since last Monday, so in the last 8 days, it shows we've gotten 4 inches of rain at our house. Just unbelievable. And, of course, it's supposed to rain basically this whole week. So it had me think about slip and falls, because it seems like we get more of these type calls when it's rainy, because of people going into stores and businesses. I'm in the middle of one right now, an injury that happened at a store here in Jackson. So kind of wanted to talk about, what are your must-haves? When you experience a slip and fall or a trip and fall at a business, what are the things that are really important that are going to have a direct impact on your case? And the first one is this. One is situational awareness. It's rainy. It's wet outside. Please be cognizant of that. Just think about that as you're going into a store. That's the one thing, is you kind of just need to know the situation that's out there, because it's wet, so everyone's going to realize it is wet. So the store is on higher notice that it's wet as well, but, hey, we don't want any to fall. At the end of the day, we would hope there were no slip and falls or trip and falls. So just be aware of the situation. But the other big thing is report it. If you fall, you have to report it. That is by far and away the most important aspect of one of these cases. Don't be embarrassed, which we hear all the time. Someone's like, I fell in the store. I was immediately hurting, but I was so embarrassed, I just left my shopping cart and went to my car and went home and then went to the doctor. Well, that just makes it so challenging to be able to take on that case, that you have to report it.
Yeah, you got to prove that you actually fell.
That's right.
That's number one, and the best way to do it is actually make an incident report.
Exactly. And report it, and then when you report it, is ask for a copy of it. That's a big thing, because I know people have said, I reported it to the store manager, the assistant store manager, and then did you get a copy of it? No, I didn't ask for a copy of it. And then, of course, we'll reach out to the store, and they're like, we don't have any record of it. Surprise.
And we have all the time where an employee comes over there and says, I told them to clean that up.
Yep.
And we don't know their name. We don't know their phone number. Get that witness's name and phone number. That will be so helpful.
Yep, exactly. We're talking about slip and falls, and you made a great point, Richard, as we went to break, as we said, make sure you report it. Ask for a copy of the report, but like you said, get witnesses' names. So important. If you fall there and an employee comes over, or even a customer comes by and sees you and says, I reported that to the store, or the store employee's like, I was supposed to clean that up 10 minutes ago, you definitely want to get those names. So witnesses are so vitally important, because you hit the point on the head, is the obligation's on the person who fell to prove it. It's much simpler in a car wreck. If you're stopped at a stop sign and someone runs into the back of you, is a simpler case to prove versus I'm walking down, the cereal aisle and I slip and fall all of a sudden because of a wet substance on the floor.
And it's even harder than an auto accident. You have to prove the store knew or should have known of the danger. They had a duty to warn you or protect you. Now, if you just slipped on water, you got to find out where the water came from. Did it come from a leaking cooler, or did it just somebody drinking water and a customer and spill it on the floor? They may not have any responsibility for that, but if it's a leaking cooler, they could have responsibility. Yep. So there's so many things that you have to do. And, of course, we see a lot of them where they mop and don't put up the signs or don't put them in good positions. That happens all the time, too. So unfortunately, when you slip and fall, you can get some bad injuries.
Yes.
You really can. And so the first thing I would do is keep in mind that you need to take a photograph of what you slipped on.
Yep.
Where it's coming from. Any statements from witnesses. So take photographs. If you can't do it, get someone else to do it for you. And because it's amazing that we can't find those employees, sometimes ex-employees, to give us statements, and it becomes a situation where we can't prove that the store knew of or should have known of the danger.
No, you're exactly right. And unfortunately, it seems like we get more and more of those calls than we used to. And I don't know if it's tied into just staffing issues, that stores just don't have enough people, so they're not able to do their normal top of the hour sweeps or security sweeps to clean up spills or clean up dangerous conditions that are out there.
Right.
But it definitely seems that it's much more frequent than it used to be. But you hit the nail on the head. Reporting it in photos are two of the biggest things that can help a case.
Yeah,
Other
absolutely.
thing I thought about is social media. Social media posts, because it kind of falls in line with a slip and fall or even a car wreck case, that there are some do's and don'ts when it comes to social media, because it seems like people just live their lives on social media. They're going to take a picture of what they had for breakfast or check in at the gym or, any number of things that they just put out there for public consumption, and that can really have a detrimental effect on somebody when they are in an accident case.
Yeah, and let me tell you, in discovery, and I'm sure you've seen this too, Doug, plenty of times, in discovery on the defense side and sometimes the plaintiff side, social media is open game because it's a public record. You can ask for social media information. Mm-hmm. You can look on someone's site. You can do all of that, and it could absolutely do something bad. Or worse than that, you could have an investigator follow you, mm-hmm. and you do things that you normally shouldn't do. And I had a case I tried very similar to that where a lady could not lift her arms very well. But her son was a starting quarterback. She was heavily medicated, and during a game, she lifted her arms in the air. And I told the jury simply that, you had a good day. Your son is a starting quarterback. He was scored a touchdown. Of course you're going to get excited. Plus the adrenaline's going to happen. But that's a one-time offense, and that's the only video they have. And the jury said, you're right. They gave her a verdict.
Yep.
But all of those social media and video are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to social media, and we're talking everything, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, what's out there, here's kind of what you want. Don't post about your accident. Number one rule is don't go home after you've been in a car wreck or you slip in a store and put out there, oh, I slipped in the store at XYZ store today. Don't post anything on social media. It's less is better when it comes to this type case, is you just don't want to post about it. Another big thing, because you kind of hit the nail on the head, Richard, is investigators, the insurance company, you may start getting friend requests from people you don't know.
That's true.
Because they could be somebody who's for the other side and is trying to dig in to be able to see your profile that you were in a car wreck this week. A month later, there you are at the beach or you're riding a roller coaster, but yet you're saying, oh, I can't do this or that, and then your social media turns around and proves that you can. So it's do not accept friend requests from people you do not know. A big thing is immediately update your privacy settings, because it's very important when you look at your privacy settings, you want to lock it down as tightly as possible with regard to your account so that you can't get people looking into it, because the only way people can ultimately look at it is if you file a lawsuit. If we don't have to file a lawsuit, the insurance company's not entitled for us to have to give them your username and password so that they can log into your Facebook account or Twitter account or whatever it may be. So it's really important that you lock down those privacy settings. Other thing is most people don't think about is please ask your friends and family not to post about it. Don't have mama who, with all good intentions, and saying, "Oh, everyone, please pray for my daughter. She was in a wreck today." It's fine for her to call her church or wherever and ask for the prayer chain to go into effect, but she doesn't need to post about it on social media. And then the other thing is don't post your locations. People check. I'm checking in at the gym. I'm checking in at the beach. I'm checking in, at this concert and so forth. But yet, you're talking about, oh, I have this injury that I'm so limited I can't do anything, and you have all these check-ins at locations after the fact. So you don't want to do that at all. So
and also you have to be mindful that we have in Mississippi something called comparative negligence. And if you say something on your social media post that could throw any bit of fault on you for the accident, then they're going to use that against you and not pay your claim.
Any health insurance, you have to make sure the medical provider knows you have health insurance and that you are requesting that it be filed. But you hit the best point. There are actions you need to take. You've got to fill out. If they send you what's called a subrogation form, you've got to fill it out. Because if you don't fill it out, then the hospital, your health insurance isn't going to process those bills. So, it's really important. That's why hiring a law firm like Schwartz Associates, where we are so used to dealing with health insurance, whether it be the VA, Medicare, private health insurance, we've seen them all, whether they're ERISA-based or non-ERISA-based, that we get the benefit. So that's why it's really important, to hire a law firm that handles these type of cases. I mean, we are a personal injury law firm. That's what we do, where some firms wear many different hats, and those are really good lawyers, but because we deal with it day in and day out, we understand the challenges that people have when it comes to health insurance and other type things. And like you said, Richard, the example of a person who loves to fish and they can no longer fish, and the value that adds to a case. So, this is what we do. It's who we are. So we would just encourage you, if you are in an accident, an auto accident, a slip and fall, trip and fall, on-the-job injury, or Social Security disability, to give us a call at the law firm, 601-988-8888. That's why you started this firm 40-plus years ago, Richard.
Yeah, I like helping people. I really do. What's important to me is when I help someone and they give me a little gift or a card, I keep all that because it just reminds me of what we're supposed to do. What not only as lawyers, but what people are supposed to do on this earth. And so it's really important to me to help people.
Yeah, that's what I like, and I know, Doug, through your service, you've got that same mindset that really you want to help people, and that's what our mission is. Our mission day in and day out is to help people, and you're doing a great job of that in Meridian.
Well, thanks. Absolutely. I mean, there's lots of ways to make money in the world, but if you are in a personal injury, just for that reason, then that you get from helping people who have real problems and real needs, and a lot of times really severe problems in their lives that you can do something to help with, that's a blessing to you.
Yeah, it comes back.
Yep.
It definitely comes back.
Absolutely. And I know, Richard, you have talked about for years, you're like, if someone would do one thing nice each day, what a better place the world would be.
Absolutely.
And you instill that into, all of our team members, and how the firm has grown from you and one legal secretary to, more than 135 strong with, 5 offices across the state of Mississippi. So it's pretty amazing what we've done, and it's thanks to the tens of thousands, really hundreds of thousands of Mississippians and others who have put their trust and confidence in the firm and hired us to help them in their time of need, and for that we are very, very appreciative.